Played O Canada, God Save the Queen. We're ready for the kickoff and to call the first quarter, Ted Reynolds.
Thanks very much, Bing, and good afternoon again. Well, this game is just about to get underway. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who are in blue and gold, to your right at the south end of Varsity Stadium, kicking off to the Hamilton Ticats, who are in gold with white and gold helmets, black numerals. The north end to the left, and the deep men for the Hamilton Ticats. On the near side, McDougald. In the center is Bubble, and on the far side, Eddie Macon, the fleet man. Jerry James, number 98, the man who scored 131 points in the Western Interprovincial Football Union this past season, and the outstanding Canadian player in football, will do the kicking. We're just being held up for a moment while referee-in-chief Paul Dojak makes a last-minute time with his timers and officials. The referee is Dojak from Regina. The first umpire is Johnny Monroe from Toronto. Bill Nairn from Winnipeg is umpire number 2. Norm Maxwell from Hamilton, umpire number 3. The field judge is Tom Daly of Ottawa, and the headlinesman is Taylor Patterson of Regina. And the 1957 edition of Canada's Great Sport Classic is just about to get underway. Jerry James moves up to the ball. Here it goes, and the game is underway. The kick is coming down to center to Bobble. Bobble is up past the 20-25 to the 30 across the 30-yard line. Bibbles Bobble takes the kickoff back and is stopped in there by number 97, reliable Gordy Rowland. James booted that ball 61 yards, and Bobble brought it back 27 yards. It's right on the 30-yard line, where it is the Hamilton Ticats first and 10. For the Ticats in the backfield, Filoni, Golston, Gilchrist, McDougall, and Macon. Flankers out to the right. Filoni's going to pass in the first offensive play. He's hit. The ball was almost intercepted down there. It was hit by Michaels. He couldn't hang on to it. Patrick, the middle guard, came crashing through on Bernie Filoni, who tried to cross up Winnipeg on the first play of the game with a forward pass. Michaels almost intercepted. It's 2nd and 10 for the Eastern champions at their own 30. Filoni's handoff in the middle. McDougall is piled up after getting 2, maybe 3 yards. We'll wait and see. And it will be a kicking situation for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. 3rd down. And they've got about 7 yards to go. Steve Patrick, once again, number 63, came crashing in on McDougall. And Michaels, number 50. So it's 3rd and a good 7 yards to go. Ron Latterell and number 97, Gordy Rowland, are the deep men. There they are. Cam Fraser from his own 20 gets away a good Fraser kick. It's coming down to the 25-yard line. Picked up there by Rowland, and he's hit immediately. He got back maybe 1 yard, no more. Cam Fraser lifted that ball 51 yards. Tommy Grant came in to mow him down, and if Shepard is fit to kick, we could have a tremendous duel between the Winnipeg booter and Hamilton's far-famed Cam Fraser. One man the Western fans have been particularly anxious to see in action. Winnipeg taking the ball offensively for the first time, have it 1st and 10 at their own 26-yard line. Kenny Plain, the kid from Iowa, is the quarterback. A straight double fullback formation with a flanker wide out to the left. Plain fakes. He's rolling out to the left. Plain is going to carry. They're in pursuit. A good block. Springs him loose. Plain is still going. And Kenny Plain is down across the 37 to the 38-yard line before veteran Vince Scott, number 53, comes in to stop him. But it's a first down, the first down of the 1957 Grey Cup game. A typical Kenny Plain maneuver with a tremendous block that sprung him loose at the 30-yard line. Herb Gray, the offensive guard and defensive left end, made that tremendous block that sprung Plain loose for the first down. Now he has a flanker to the right. Mendick is 10 yards out. Plain with the pitch. Across the 40, jump dive to the 45, 46-yard line before being hit by a maze of Hamilton tacklers. Carrying the ball that time was number 93. Nick Miller. Nick Miller will be in there probably a lot more than Charlie Shepard. The chances are Shepard will do just the kicking. Second down and 3 yards to go for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. We're early in the first quarter of this Grey Cup game. Plains pitches to the right. There goes Jerry James, and he is hit up at the 50-yard line. He may have the first down. We'll wait and see. Correction, it was Leo Lewis. It is first down. And the Lincoln locomotive, Leo Lewis, gets first down, number 2 of the football game. Tony Cursillo from the linebacking spot made the stop on Leo Lewis. Plains pitches to the right. There goes Jerry James. They're looking for him. He gets across the line of scrimmage, down for perhaps 2 yards. It'll be no more. Number 90, Eddie Macon, who gave James a little pat in the back as he got up, made the stop. A gain of 2. It's second down and 8 yards to go. No score. The game just underway. And one big thrill so far provided on the first Winnipeg offensive play by Kenny Plain. Flanker wide to the left this time. Second down, 8 yards to go. Plain fakes. The rush is on him, and he's hit, thrown back at the 40-yard line for a loss of 12 yards. Scott came crashing in on him, along with Newman. So it's a kicking situation, a loss of 12. Kicking situation, the kicking team goes in for Winnipeg. There are your deep men. Ron Howell and Johnny Fedosov. The kick by Charlie Shepard bounces at the 32. Fedosov is to the 35, turned around and knocked down right on the 35-yard line where the Winnipeg Blue Bombers take over first and 10. Cornell Piper, number 58, hit him. A 41-yard kick by Charlie Shepard. On his first effort, Cam Fraser lifted it 51 yards. As we pointed out, this could be a tremendous game from the kicking point of view, a great duel. Winnipeg setting the defenses without starry linebacker Pete Mangum, of course. They have Michaels in with Cease Looney moved up at the defensive end. On the first play, Cookie Gilchrist, showing his stuff to Western viewers for only the second time, that is via television, gets across. Dave Szymanski made the block. Poloni fakes. Now he throws out here in the flat. It's no good. Meant for Cookie Gilchrist. He couldn't hang on to it. He was being rushed. And by the looks of things, they're going to hit and hit hard in this football game. The big question is whether it will be all defense or whether perhaps one lucky break might spring somebody loose and provide a high-scoring game. Ron Latterell back along with Gordy Rowland as it's third down and 7 for the Hamilton Ticats, whose offense so far has not been able to move. Cam Fraser's at his own 35, kicks for the 25, kicks from the 29. The kick comes down to Rowland at the 30, and Rowland squeaked about an extra 3 yards, getting back to the 38-yard line where it'll be Winnipeg first and 10. A 42-yard kick that time. Billy Graham, number 83, was in there to put the stop on Gordy Rowland. Winnipeg's offensive unit, guided by Kenny Plain, goes out. The line, Gilliam, Kanakis, Gray, Drucksmann, Michaels, Hobart, and Pitts from left to right. Middle guard, Vince Scott, leading the defenders for Hamilton. Hamilton in at 6-3-3. Flanker left for the Bombers this time. There's no score in the first quarter of this Grey Cup game. There's the pitch. Running wide out to this side across the 40. And a fumble intercepted by Bobble. Bobble heading down the line. He may go all the way. Bobble is really turning it on. He's over in the corner. Touchdown for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Dennis Mendick had the ball fumbled right out of his hands in the air. It was picked up by Bobble, and he scampered 47 yards for the first score of the game. The Hamilton Tiger Cats lead the Winnipeg Blue Bombers by a score of 6-0. Steve Honestchuk will attempt the conversion. Ray Truant will hold. Ball is back. It's up. It is good. The score, Hamilton 7 and Winnipeg no score. This is your coast-to-coast Grey Cup football telecast.
It's Too Tough, the Shell dealer who says, to give your car the right start in life, get Super Shell with TCP.
Well, we mentioned breaks in the game. There was a break and a bit of tremendous heads-up defensive play by Bobble. He scampered 47 yards and he turned it on. So the Winnipeg Blue Bombers will kick off now to, or rather the Hamilton Ticats will kick off to the Bombers. With 9 minutes, 45 seconds remaining in the first period. James and Lewis are the deep man. A short kick. Grabbed by the Winnipeg Bombers, but who got it? The Ticats were in there too. We'll have to wait till a maze of bodies are unpiled. Everybody is rallying round. Let's wait and see. Hamilton Tiger Cats got that ball. Another bit of great heads-up football by these Ticats, who are off and running. Gino DeNoble on the short kickoff, an old Edmonton trick, pulled very successfully on a couple of occasions in Grey Cup games in the last couple of years. So it is Hamilton, 1st and 10. They are at the Winnipeg 42-yard line. They lead 7-0. Graham flanking wide to the right. Maloney fakes the handoff. He's going to throw. Just a little bit too long and too high for Harry Lampman down at the 30-yard line. Lampman was being covered over there mainly by number 70 for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Norm Rawhouse. Maloney has attempted 3, has not completed a pass yet. But he was getting far better protection and had a lot more time to throw that one than his first couple. Flanker to the right again. Direct handoff. Cookie Gilchrist plows through the center. Make that Goldston, and he gets to the 37-yard line. 3rd down, kicking situation, and the deep men, Latterell and Roland, drop back inside their own end zone. Roland is standing about 10 yards in. Cam Fraser will kick from the Winnipeg 50-yard line. High snap, but he gets it away. A high kick, short. It's not going to the end zone. Bounces in. Picked up by Latterell. Did he get out? He got to that. Yes, he is out just by a hair's breadth. He was hit down there and hit very fast. Booming in on top of him for the Ticats is Tommy Grant, along with Gino DeNoble. DeNoble was the man who made that offensive series possible by getting on top of the ball after the short kickoff. Winnipeg trailing the Hamilton Ticats 7-0, and we're in the first quarter here at Varsity Stadium in Toronto, a tremendously colorful place, as you can imagine right now. Flankers to the left, calling signals, Kenny Plain. Plain on a quarterback sneak, gets out for 5, 6, 7, 8. He's pushed back, but his forward progress got him almost to the 10-yard line. Tremendous drive. Vince Scott was in to make the stop. As Pop Ivy, the coach of the Edmonton Eskimos, said, this kid digs all his cleats into the turf. There was a pretty good example of what Pop meant. When he starts driving, he drives. It's second. About a yard, a little better. Plain on a long count. Hand off on that far side, getting up across the line of scrimmage was Nick Miller. And let's wait and see. He might have gained a foot. He didn't gain any more, and we're getting the first measurement of the game. It's close, but they take no chances, particularly on Grey Cup Day. The referee-in-chief from Regina is Paul Dojak. Hamilton, 7. Winnipeg, no score. If it was a foot, it was certainly no more. It looked more like about 6 inches. So going into the game again, and obviously, for the present at least, he is only going to kick Charlie Shepard, number 91. Ron Howell and Johnny Fedosov are the deep men standing just about midfield. Howell is closest to you. Shepard has got a kick from his own end zone. Third down and inches. Bombers are backed in there, and they were not able to move the ball against that Hamilton line. The snap, good snap. Shepard, lots of time, but he gets away a very short, wobbly kick. It bounces at his own 45. A good bounce for him across the 50, and Howell tripped and falls. He is down at the 46-yard line. Hit by Keith Pierce, who just lay on him to stop him after he had tripped. 44-yard kick. The wind is hardly a factor in this game. Stavkinakis was also in there to make sure that once Howell was down, he stayed down. So the Ticats, leading 7-0, take over. 1st and 10. Bernie Filoni, no stranger to you Westerners, of course, gives the ball to Cookie Gilchrist, and he is pulled down by Gordy Rowland, number 97. Rowland, a tremendous defensive strength for the Winnipeg team, had that one all figured out. Give him half a yard, make it 2nd down, 9.5 to go. Actually, he just got back to about the line of scrimmage. Graham on the near side, Golson flanking on the far side. Filoni to Gilchrist. Gilchrist 35, 30. He is rolled out of bounds at the 29-yard line. The official right on top of the play. He wasn't going to stop till somebody made him stop, but he had stepped out of bounds. The officials put it on the 29. That's the first completion for Bernie Filoni. First down passing. It's 1st and 10. Winnipeg 29-yard line. Filoni checks. McDougald. And they're hitting in there and hitting hard. McDougald gets to the 25-yard line, a gain of 4. 2nd down and 6 yards to go. Steve Patrick, number 63, once again in there to put the stop on him. Patrick is flanked by Savoy and Tinsley. 6.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Filoni snaps the signal. Long count this time. Oh! McDougald down to the 10. 7. He is down still on his feet. He crosses, but it was ruled that he was encircled at about the 6, maybe the 5-yard line. Keith Pierce had a hold of him, and that McDougald just flecked a couple of biceps. And man, oh man, he was shaking them off. It was ruled that he had been stopped, encircled, I believe is the rule, the way they describe it. And after going 19, a first down, the ball is at the 6-yard line, where it is 1st down and goal to go for these hungry Hamiltons. Filoni on a sneak. Filoni heading for that line. He is right on the goal line. No, touchdown! The official ruling touchdown. We had to wait because the first official to go in there did not raise the arms. Touchdown for Filoni on the sneak. It is Hamilton 13, Winnipeg, no score. The Ticats moved 46 yards in 5 plays. McDougald's breathtaking burst was the big one, along with Bernie Filoni's first completed pass. Steve Onischuk will attempt the conversion. Another high snap, and they're going to try and run with it. No, a lateral is knocked down, picked up, no good. Well, that was a bit of desperation. I've got this thing here. I don't want it. The ball is picked up by the official. There is no conversion. Naturally, they never did get to kick the ball. The Bombers wanted to go and pick it up and run. They could not. The score remains the Hamilton Ticats 13, Winnipeg Blue Bombers no score, a bad snap nullifying the attempt to make it 14. So the Hamilton Ticats once more will kick off to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Chet Mixon, number 46, will do the kicking. Great big guy, 230-pounder, 6'2". He gets his foot under it, and it's bouncing at the 25. Finally picked up at the 25 by Michaels. Michaels in the middle, and he is thrown down by number 74, Pete Newman. So the Bombers take over their 1st and 10. This game is coming to you from Varsity Stadium.
What's your pleasure? Quality or service? Here's Two Top, the shell dealer, who has a head or two on his shoulders, so he gives you both.
First and 10 for the Blue Bombers. They trail 13-0. We're still in the first quarter. Kenny Plain is at quarterback. Straight double fullback formation. Fake. Handoff is to Leo Lewis, and Lewis gets across the line of scrimmage, a gain of about 3. Vince Scott and those middle guards on both teams have been playing very well so far, and Dave Staminsky. In along with Scott, second down, 7 yards to go for the Blue Bombers, who are down 13-0 in the first quarter with 5 minutes remaining unofficially. Now Plain has a flanker right. Plain is going back. His first drop back pass. He chooses his swing man, Jerry James, and he could not hang on to it. James is the safety valve out there. It is a lateral pass. There was a lot of contention about that exact play in one of the Winnipeg-Edmonton games. So you've got a kicking situation once more for the Blue Bombers on 3rd down. They lost ground on the lateral pass. Charlie Shepard stands back at his own 15. Gets a good boot away. It's coming down to the 40, taken by Ronnie Howell. Howell is across the 45. Howell heading for those sidelines, runs out of bounds, taking a few photographers, some of his own players, and a few defenders too, just at midfield. Well, they're marking it at the Hamilton 54-yard line, where it's Ticats 1st and 10. 39 yards. And Mr. Howell helped the Ticat cause considerably, getting that ball back almost to midfield. As we said earlier, the field is in very fine shape. Its condition will certainly not be a factor here. There's Filoni with the pitch. Rookie Gilchrist fumbles. Nobody's got it yet. It's still rolling around. Ticats finally get it back at the 47-yard line. Gilchrist was hit hard by Gordy Rowland. He tried to get the ball. It fumbled away from him. One Winnipeg player had an opportunity to get it. Finally, quarterback Bernie Filoni found the thing and made it lie down for him. It's an 8-yard loss. It's second down and 18 yards to go for the Ticats. They're leading 13-0 late in the first quarter. Flanker wide out to the left this time for Hamilton. Filoni fakes. He's rolling to the left. Now he's throwing long for Graham. Over his head, too far. Graham was away out of bounds. Being covered over there by number 70, Norm Rawhouse. Winnipeg homebrew, 190 pounds, 6'1". Third down, and Cam Fraser will put his foot into operation again. Deep men are Latterell and Roland. The numbers, for the benefit of those of you who try to read the numbers yourself, are not easy to read on the Winnipeg team. The sun is coming out. That may help a bit. Fraser gets it away. Coming down on this near side at the 25. Latterell slipped and is downed after getting back to the 27-yard line. Ron Latterell. Pete Newman, number 74, was down there. That is the shortest kick of the day on either side so far, a 38-yard boot by Cam Fraser. So the Blue Bombers have the ball, 1st and 10. They trail 13-0. The ball is at their own 20, about the 28-yard line. And just a little pile of sawdust there. Kenny Plain calls those signals. Since the first play, he's not been able to get this Winnipeg team going. Leo Lewis spins off one tackler, falls forward to the 33-yard line. Finally stopped by the veteran Vince Scott. 9 years of it and still going strong. Second down, 5 yards to go for Winnipeg. Bombers trailing 13-0 late in the first quarter. Straight double fullback formation again. Plain dropping straight back to pass. Gets good protection. No good. That pass was meant for number 74 of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Frank Gilliam, who incidentally was an old catching friend of Plain's from their days at Iowa. Gilliam goes down and cuts back across, and he just didn't get there in time. So it's kick again for Winnipeg, and the Hamilton defense has been superlative against the Western champions so far. The deep men are at their own 38-yard line. Ron Howell on the near side, Fedosov on the far side. Shepard gets away, a wobbler that bounces at the 40. Fedosov is across the 40, back to the 45, and pinned there by Ernie Pitts, number 77. 42-yard kick by Charlie Shepard, who must have just about that average, about 41.5. And there is the Winnipeg defensive team going out. The Winnipeg defensive team is missing one of its great stars, linebacker Pete Mangum. We have not heard a 3-minute whistle so far. The clock, which is unofficial, I'd like you to keep that in mind. The clock on the field is unofficial, but it says less than 3 minutes remaining in the first quarter. It's 13-0 for the Eastern champion Ticats. You're looking at the Winnipeg huddle, and at the moment we have an official's timeout while a check takes place with on the official time. That's the official who was checking. Now we're having a little huddle. The boys in the striped shirts get together. Hamilton 13, Winnipeg no score. First quarter. It all started with a pickup of a fumble in the air by Bobble, who rambled 47 yards. Catwalked it down the sidelines for the first major score. Now we're ready to go. They got the whole thing settled again. In their own minds at least. Remind you again that there are 5 officials, or 6 officials rather, instead of the usual 5. Filoni has 3 backs in tight, his flanker wide to the right. And Big Bud Tinsley went for quite a ride there. On the back of McDougald. He got right up in his back. Or was it Cookie Gilchrist? Yes, number 85, Cookie Gilchrist. Bud climbed up there, sat in his shoulders, and Gilchrist went 1 yard, which is a long way to go with 260 pounds of Bud Tinsley riding you. Graham flanks wide to the right. Maloney, he rushes on. He ducks away from one man. Now he's throwing long down here. No good. Meant for Cookie Gilchrist down to the 35-yard line of the Blue Bombers. He couldn't hang on to it. So it's third down. Better than 9 yards to go, and Fraser will move back in. Dropping back deep to their own 20 for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Numbers 87 on the near side, Lateral on the far side, hands on hips, Gordy Rowland, number 97. Fraser stands at his own 33-yard line. It's a good snap, kicks from the 35. Oh, Bobbler, no good. Grabbed at the 45 by Keith Pierce, who is down there, pushed back to the about the 44, and that kick traveled only 19 yards from the line of scrimmage. Fraser, who started kicking 51 yards, has now had two, certainly for him, poor kicks. Toohey was in there to stop Pierce from going any farther. Winnipeg 1st and 10 at the 45-yard line. There you see the Hamilton defense. In the middle, Scott, Saminsky, and Barrow. The clock is working down to about 1 minute, just a fraction over 1 minute to go in this quarter. Plain bootlegs out to his right, throws. It's out there for Pitts. Hang on to it at the 48-yard line of the Ticats. Pitts, after a beautiful bootleg, couldn't hang on to it. Minute flag is ready to go up. It is up, I believe, but the man is kneeling down so that the people behind him will be able to see. There's the minute flag. It's 2nd 10 after an incomplete forward pass. Plain to Pitts. Plain is going back to throw again as the Bombers take to the air. No, Plain decides to run. 50, midfield, into Hamilton territory. Still fighting and being fought, and boy, they're hitting in this football game. Bobble was wrestling him there along with Golston, and it's first down, and there was Kenny Plain at his explosive best. Now that was not the play that a lot of people are talking about, the quarterback draw. That was not. That was just Plain showing that he is a tremendous running quarterback. He was going back to pass that time. Found his hole and rambled for the first down. Here's the pitch on this side to Dennis Mendick, and the menace gets to the 47, is pushed back. The ball was knocked out of his hands, but the whistle had gone, and it's a gain of about 4 yards, Winnipeg. Flag still up there. John Barrow, number 61, and linebacker number 99, Tony Cursillo, in to make the stop. This could be the last play of the first quarter. Hamilton leading 13-0. Kenny Plain calls his signals. Plain is going back to throw. It's good protection. It's out there, complete to Pitts at the 40-yard line. Pitts is being rushed to the far sidelines, is finally wrestled out over there by Bobble, who had a hold of Pitts, but was having a lot of trouble getting rid of him. So it's very close to a first down. There could be a measurement here on the last play of the first quarter. This is your Grey Cup football telecast.
And here's that wonderful fellow, Chuck and Charlie Shell, better known as Two Top.
Hey, Charlie. Hey, Charlie. Don't shout. I can hear. I'm just reading here where it says, I know, it says that new cars have high compression motors, so they need an extra powerful gasoline like Super Shell. How did you know? Mental telepathy. Chuck, you amaze me. Sometimes I think I ought to be twins to keep up with you. Wait a minute. Here comes a customer. Better take care of him. Want me to go along with you? It's up to you. Might as well.
Fill her up.
Super Shell?
What's so super about it?
Commercial him, Chuck. You commercial him, Charlie. We'll commercial him together. Super Shell with TCP is the top performer of Shell's new high-octane.
Please, I'm hearing double.
Charlie, he's only got 2 ears. Oh, Well, I said that Super Shell with TCP is the star performer of Shell's new high-octane team.
Well, on the last play of the first quarter, the Bombers, in the middle of what's been their best offensive maneuver so far, did get a first down by inches. They will have the ball first and 10 at the 41-yard line as the second quarter gets underway. And to tell you just what happens from here, here is Steve Douglas.
All right, Ted. How do you do, everybody? Blue Bombers making their first excursion into Hamilton Ticats territory, trailing in the ball game by 13 points to nothing. First and 10 on the Hamilton 41-yard line. Kenny Payne, number 89, the Bomber quarterback. And off is Jerry James, who drives up the center of the line, comes pretty close to the 35-yard line. The officials will mark it down about a yard from there. 2 yards on the 37 with Pete Newman, the great Hamilton Ticats defensive end, number 74, the principal tackler, along with Eddie Bevan. That, incidentally, is only the second time that Jerry James, one of the top ball carriers in the Western Conference, has carried the ball this afternoon. Two flankers way out on the far side. Blaine fakes to James, the hole opens up, and Jerry drives down for yardage across the 25-yard line until he is piled up down there with Ray Bobble, number 72, Cookie Gilchrist, number 85, and number 88, Ralph Golston, coming up from his halfback defensive spot to make the stop on him. Fourth first down that the Blue Bombers have made on the ground this afternoon. The length of the football inside the 25-yard line, and Western supporters are getting a chance to yell for the first time. Mendick is a flanker far on the right side for the Bombers. Ball carrier stopped right at the line of scrimmage. He may have picked up roughly a yard in the play. Leo Lewis, number 99. Left side of the Hamilton defensive wall. Stood up to him. Saminsky, Underwood, and Scott in on the tackle. Lewis suffered torn rib cartilages near the latter part of the Western season, and he was shaken just a wee bit on that play. Plain pulling right back. Newman got a piece of him, couldn't hold him. He is finally hit down to the ground by Vince Scott and Harry Lampman, 53 and 73 respectively. And the position of the football is midway between the 20 and 25-yard lines, Hamilton end of the field. It's taken 15 yards in from the near western sidelines. 13-0 is the count. The Hamilton Ticats lead on 2 first-quarter touchdowns and 1 conversion, and we have 13 minutes to go to halftime. No question of a punt or a field goal here. Blaine is back to throw. He may be nailed. He's down on the ground. Back on the 32-yard line, and Eddie Bevan, number 51, the old fire horse, along with Vince Scott of Hamilton, made the stop on him. So the Hamilton Ticats have stopped the Winnipeg offensive thrust, their first excursion into black and gold territory this afternoon, taken over possession of the football on their own 31-yard line. Winnipeg defenses get set. Ron Howell in at flying wing is the flanker on the far side as Jerry McDougall tries to find running room on the right side of the line. The ball is loose, recovered by Winnipeg. Cease Looning, number 73, is the man who came up with the football after it had been jarred out of the hands of ball carrier Jerry McDougall as he rambled into the right side of the line for what appeared to be a 2 or 3 yard gain. So football fortunes change very quickly again, and the Blue Bombers have first and 10 on Hamilton's 32-yard line. And they've got flankers all over the place. Kenny Plain's their quarterback. The pitch out is to Dennis Mendick, running wide to the left, cutting back, and being upended by Eddie Macon, number 90. His advance is down to the 27-yard line. Pickup is 4. It is second down and 6 to go. Eddie Macon plays left half defensively for the Ticats. He is number 90. He's not a big fellow, but he's very alert and agile and speedy defensive-wise. Mendick flanks to the right for the Blue Bombers. Second down, 6 to go from Hamilton's 27-yard line. Bootlegging by Plain beautifully. He gets the ball away. It is completed down to Frank Gilliam, his former receiving partner at the University of Iowa, and the Blue Bombers have a first down on the Ticats' 15-yard line, almost directly in front of the goalpost. The clouds that have been overshadowing Varsity Stadium in Toronto are breaking just a little bit. We're getting flashes of sunshine here. This crowd is really roaring now. Leo Lewis at the 10, and finally dumped on the 8-yard line by Harry Lampman, number 73 of the Ticats, along with Tony Casillo, their linebacker. Defensively, Harry Lampman plays left corner linebacker, and Tony Casillo is the left inside man. It is on the 8-yard line. Second down and maybe 4 yards to go. Lewis and Miller are flanked out to the left for Winnipeg. Jerry James tries the right side in tight. He picked up about a yard or maybe 2 before he was hit by Eddie Bevan and P.W. Underwood. Ball is on the 7-yard line. That leaves it third down, roughly a yard and a half or 2 yards left to go. Series of plays started from the 15. Bombers' deepest penetration to date. Jerry James trying to get back, and he is upended and hit down on the 7-yard line. So the Hamilton Ticats once again will take over as Winnipeg, for the second successive time in Hamilton territory, fails to pick up the necessary 10 yards. They may be requiring a measurement on this play. No, sir. There is referee Paul Dojak's decision and his signal. The Ticats have stopped Winnipeg again, this time on the 7-yard line. So it is their ball, 1st and 7 from that point. They lead 13-0 with unofficially 10 minutes left to halftime. Jerry James, who rushed for over 1,200 yards to be second in the Western Conference, has carried the ball only 3 times this afternoon. Maloney's fast handoff to his halfback sets him right up the middle, and the Winnipeg line gives very grudgingly. Cookie Gilchrist, number 85 of the Ticats, who lost his helmet on the play, made the advance to roughly the 11-yard line, a 4-yard pickup, second down and 6 to go. Tommy Grant is a flanker on this side, and Billy Graham goes out on the far side. Cookie on that fast breaking play up the middle. He's still on his feet. There's a marker on the play, and he fumbled again. Recovered by Hamilton, but there's a marker back at the line of scrimmage on a holding call. Billy Graham recovered the loose ball after Cookie Gilchrist had it jarred out of his hands the second time this afternoon. He moved 30 yards, but it probably will go for naught. Holding against Hamilton. And the beautiful fast breaking play up the middle by Cookie Gilchrist just goes out the window. Officials put the ball down on the 5-yard line. It is directly in front of the eastern upright on the goalpost, 5 yards out. Second down and roughly 12 yards to go. Flankers left and right, Grant and Graham. Maloney rolling towards the right side. He may run. He's across the 10 to the 12-yard line before he is finally piled up. Whitley, number 45, the number 1 man to hit him, along with Steve Patrick. Whitley is a linebacker for the Blue Bombers, and Patrick their middle guard defensively. Luttrell and Rowland are the 2 deep men for Winnipeg in the vicinity of the midfield stripe as Cam Fraser stands about a yard inside his own end zone. He gets off a honey of a kick. And Luttrell takes on the 50-yard line and is finally pushed out of bounds on the far side of the field by Chet Mixa. It'll be 1st and 10 for Winnipeg from that point. This game coming to you from Varsity Stadium.
Two Top says the team that scores with the horsepower play in your car is Super Shell or New Shell with TCP.
Cam Fraser's boot traveled 48 yards from the line of scrimmage. Luttrell was pushed into touch on the Winnipeg 53-yard line. Blue Bombers ball 1st and 10 from that point. 8 minutes to halftime. 13-0 Hamilton. Playing back to throw, throwing very long, intended for Mendick. He's got it and loses it. Ray Bobble picked it up. Mendick was losing his balance in his anxiety to reach that football and hold on to it. He got his hands on it, but just couldn't hang. Kenny Plain so far this afternoon is 2 for 6 in the air, 2 completions in 6 efforts. Mendick coming out of the ball game, right there, number 85, former great star at Michigan State University, came to the Blue Bombers from the New York Giants of the NFL. Luttrell is in, and he's flanking at the lower left-hand corner of your screen. Draw play with James, and James is nailed, maybe for a loss of 1 yard. Center of the Hamilton Ticat forward wall, led by Vince Scott, along with Paul Decker, moved in to put the grab on Jerry James. The loss is roughly 1 yard. It is 3rd down and 11. And Fedosov and Powell move deep for Hamilton to receive the punt. Jerry Vincent is in to do the booting for Winnipeg. He kicks from his own 43. Lofts a wobbler to Fedosov at the 24-yard line. And he is nailed, and nailed hard as he crossed the 25. Cornell Piper, number 1 man to hit him. Vincent's punt traveled 40 yards from the line of scrimmage. His average during the season was 39.8 on over 100 boots. Incidentally, the week of December 1st to December 7th is Safe Driving Week in Canada, so be sure you follow the rules of safe driving. The right way is the only safe way in traffic. Flank is right and left as Filoni pulls straight back, looks, throws out in the flat here, intended for Decker. He's got it, and there's a marker down on the field. Decker is bumped out of bounds by Norm Rohaus at midfield, but an official marker is down on the play. Consultation is with. Penalty is being marked off against the Hamilton Ticats. An ineligible receiver on the play by the Hamilton Ticats with the flanker up on the line of scrimmage. And the ball is placed back on Hamilton's 12-yard line. First down and 25 yards to go. Flankers right and left. Filoni rolling out this way. Looks, throws down, intended for Decker again, completed. And he is bumped out of bounds on this side by Gordy Rowland of the Blue Bombers. He picked up the 15 yards on the penalty, plus about 4 more, leaving it at 2nd down and roughly 6.5 to go. A 19-yard pass and run play from Filoni to Paul Decker. Grant splits out as a flanker on this side. Little Billy Graham on the far side. Filoni pulls straight back, looks, throws to Grant. He's got it for a first down. And he is down to earth from the 45-yard line, just inside it. With Gordy Rowland once again making the stop. Unofficially, 6.5 minutes to halftime in this Grey Cup Classic at Varsity Stadium, Toronto, as the skies are darkening very menacingly again. 13-0 for Hamilton, both TDs and the one convert in the first quarter. Filoni rolling, looking down this side, throwing long, intended for Grant. He's being guarded by Vincent, and it's incomplete. Ticats up to this time in the ball game have come up with 5 first downs, 2 through the air. Filoni so far has been throwing a little more often than usual during the regular Big Four season. He has completed only 2, but he has tossed 9. It is 2nd down and 10 yards to go. The ball, the nose of the football, very close to Hamilton's 45-yard line, just an inch or so away. Flankers right and left again. Filoni pulls straight back. Looks, throws into the arms and right out of Ralph Toohey. Toohey being checked by Elton Taylor of the Blue Bombers. So Bernie is now 2 for 10. Rowland and Latterell will go deep for Winnipeg in anticipation of the punt that Cam Fraser will send through the air here. It is 3rd and 10. Deep men in the vicinity of the 15 and 20-yard lines. Fraser started off like a house of fire. Had one bad one off the side of his foot, traveled only 19 yards. High pass from center, and he got it away. It was very nearly blocked by Hall Whitley. Taken by Ron Latterell up to the 24-yard line. Gino DiNovo, number 55, and Billy Graham, number 83 of Hamilton, the 2 men who put the first stop on him. 48-yard boot from the line of scrimmage by Cam Fraser. Bombers ball, 1st and 10, just inside their own 25-yard line. 5 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. Pitch is split at the right end position, about 10 yards. Kenny Plain pulling back, being chased by Scott, throwing on the run, and it is intended for Pitts and broken up by Eddie Macon, right at the sideline stripe, at midfield. Plain firing on the dead run. His intended receiver, Ernie Pitts, one of the top men in the Western Conference this year insofar as grabs were concerned. Pitts, as a matter of fact, was 2nd in the Western Conference. He caught 38 passes during the regular play. 2nd down and 10, Winnipeg inside their 25. Plain pulling back, throwing, completed to Pitts. He laterals to Jerry James, and James is bumped out of bounds on the 40-yard line. The man who did the bumping was Eddie Macon. Winnipeg, first down. 16-yard play overall. Plain passing to Pitts. Pitts lateraling to Jerry James. Our clock, which we remind you again is unofficial, shows 5 minutes to halftime, but no whistle has come up from the field yet. Plane pulled straight back. Pete Newman rushing him. Vinny Scott has got him. And he's down on the 35-yard line. Eddie Bevan, the fireman from Hamilton, came in to help out. Bevan and Scott are long-time standout defensive players with the Ticats. Bevan in his 8th year with the club and Scott in his 9th. Plane pulls straight back once again. Throws on this side, complete to Mendick, and Mendick is hit almost immediately at the original line of scrimmage. Harry Lampman, number 73, former star in the Western Conference, put the tackle on him. It is third down and about 9.5 yards to go. Powell and Fedosiv off the bench tentatively, and then they finally came out, took up spots on the 35-yard line. Jerry Vincent once again set to boot, your Hamilton deep man there. A marker on the play, Cookie Gilchrist roughed the kicker. Ron Howell smothered on the 36-yard line. Cookie Gilchrist charging in to try and block the kick. Hit the kicker, and the play is being called back. This is your Grey Cup football telecast.
Satisfy your car's every octane need. Get Super Shell or New Shell. Switch to Shell today.
Referee Paul Dojak of Regina gave the signal for roughing the kicker. It gives the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 1st and 10 on the Ticats' 54-yard line. Short pro-type pass over the line of scrimmage to Ernie Pitts, who cut in sharply from his right end position. It is not good for a first down, but it does pick up roughly 8 yards in the play before Tony Casillo made the stop. Only 3 penalties in the ball game up to this point, all against the Ticats for a total of 35 yards. Second down and roughly 2 to go. Ball on the Ticats' 46, Winnipeg possession. Plane on the quarterback sneak trying for the yardage, and this may have to be measured. Casillo once again up from his right inside linebacking position, makes the stop along with Vince Scott. There still has been no time signal given from the field, but the clock here shows 3 minutes and 12 seconds left to go. You can't get much closer than that, and we gave you a perfect picture of it. It is a first down for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers on the Ticat 44-yard line. There is the 3-minute signal. The 9th first down to date picked up by the Bombers. 1st and 10 on Hamilton's 44. Ticats are in front by 13 to nothing. Just under 3 minutes remaining to halftime. Plane pitches out to Mendick. Mendick may throw. He does. Long. And about 4 bodies are up for it. And the closest man with Lewis, the intended receiver, that might have picked it off was Eddie Macon as the football bounced into the air, but he was 3 or 4 yards away from it. There were roughly 5 Hamilton Ticat defenders in the immediate vicinity of Leo Lewis on that particular play on the pitch out from Plane to Mendick. Mendick shooting straight out toward the far sidelines and stopping and pitching suddenly downfield intended for Lewis. Lewis and Miller are flankers on the far side. Pitts is split on this side from his right end position. Plane throwing for Pitts. And did he get it inside or not? Let's see. Yes, he completed the pass inside, and it will be a first down by roughly a yard for the Blue Bombers on the Hamilton 33-yard line. And Steve Onischuk, the Hamilton captain, is having words with referee Paul Dojak, who now signals first down Winnipeg. The other officials today, the 3 umpires, John Monroe of Toronto, Bill Nairn of Winnipeg, Norm Maxwell, Hamilton, field judge Tom Daly, Ottawa, head linesman Taylor Patterson, Regina. Here go the Bombers. Plane pitches out to Jerry James, who cuts back sharply. Pete Newman grabbed him from behind, but not before James had reached the 25-yard line. And that leaves him roughly 1.5 yards short of the first down. The football is almost directly in front of the goalposts. The Blue Bombers in the dark uniforms are moving from north to south on this field at Varsity Stadium in the second quarter. Plain faking and holding onto the ball himself, going for the yardage for a first down, and there could be a measurement coming up. The sticks are coming out for the measurement. Kenny Plain has carried the ball himself this afternoon 9 times so far. It is short of a first down, but just by very few inches. So this is a pretty good chance for you armchair quarterbacks to figure out what you'd do if you were in Kenny Plain's position. Third down and just inches to go, about 1.5 minutes to halftime. And his team trails 13-0. He goes himself and gets it. Plain on the quarterback keep play right up the middle. First down. Ball is on the 21-yard line, about 25 yards in from these western sidelines, and it is snowing at Varsity Stadium in Toronto. A wet, drizzly type of snow just coming down now for the first time. Plain back to pass. He throws very deep into the end zone. A marker on the field. It is intercepted and dropped in the end zone by one of the Ticat defenders in the person of Ray Bobble. And there's an interference penalty being called on the field. Cookie Gilchrist of the Ticats apparently is the culprit on the interference call.
Illegal interference against Hamilton. Illegal interference penalty with a defensive pass receiver against Hamilton gives Winnipeg a first down.
It is first down for the Blue Bombers on the 13-yard line and directly in front of the goal. Deep men in the vicinity of the 15 and 20-yard lines. Fraser started off like a house of fire. Had one bad one off the side of his foot, traveled only 19 yards. High pass from center, and he got it away. It was very nearly blocked by Hall Whitley. Taken by Ron Latterell up to the 24-yard line. Gino DiNoble, number 55, and Billy Graham, number 83 of Hamilton, the two men who put the first stop on him. 48-yard boot from the line of scrimmage by Cam Fraser. Bombers ball, 1st and 10, just inside their own 25-yard line. 5 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. Pitch is split at the right end position, about 10 yards. Kenny Plain pulling back, being chased by Scott, throwing on the run, and it is intended for Pitts and broken up by Eddie Macon right at the sideline stripes at midfield. Plain firing on the dead run. His intended receiver, Ernie Pitts, one of the top men in the Western Conference this year insofar as grabs were concerned. Pitts, as a matter of fact, was second in the Western Conference. He caught 38 passes during the regular play. 2nd down and 10, Winnipeg inside their 25. Plain pulling back, throwing. Completed to Pitts. He laterals to Jerry James, and James is bumped out of bounds on the 40-yard line. The man who did the bumping was Eddie Macon. Winnipeg first down. 16-yard play overall. Plain passing to Pitts. Pitts lateraling to Jerry James. Our clock, which we remind you again is unofficial, shows 5 minutes to halftime, but no whistle has come up from the field yet. Plain pulled straight back. Pete Newman rushing him. Vinny Scott has got him, and he's down on the 35-yard line. Eddie Bevan, the fireman from Hamilton, came in to help out. Bevan and Scott are long-time standout defensive players with the Ticats. Bevan in his 8th year with the club and Scott in his 9th. Plain pulls straight back once again. Throws on this side, complete to Mendick, and Mendick is hit almost immediately at the original line of scrimmage. Harry Lampman, number 73, former star in the Western Conference, put the tackle on him. It is third down and about 9.5 yards to go. Powell and Fedosiv off the bench tentatively, and then they finally came out, took up spots on the 35-yard line. Jerry Vincent once again set to boot, your Hamilton deep man there. A marker on the play. Cookie Gilchrist roughed the kicker. Ron Howell smothered on the 36-yard line. Cookie Gilchrist charging in to try and block the kick. Hit the kicker, and the play is being called back. This is your Grey Cup football telecast.
Satisfy your car's every octane need. Get Super Shell or New Shell. Switch to Shell today.
Referee Paul Dojak of Regina gave the signal for roughing the kicker. It gives the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 1st and 10 on the Ticats' 54-yard line. Short pro-type pass over the line of scrimmage to Ernie Pitts, who cut in sharply from his right end position. It is not good for a first down, but it does pick up roughly 8 yards in the play before Tony Casillo made the stop. Only 3 penalties in the ball game up to this point, all against the Ticats for a total of 35 yards. Second down and roughly 2 to go. Ball on the Ticats 46, Winnipeg possession. Plain on the quarterback sneak trying for the yardage, and this may have to be measured. Casillo once again up from his right inside linebacking position makes the stop along with Vince Scott. There still has been no time signal given from the field, but the clock here shows 3 minutes and 12 seconds left to go. You can't get much closer than that, and we gave you a perfect picture of it. It is a first down for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers on the Ticat 44-yard line. There is the 3-minute signal. The 9th first down to date picked up by the Bombers. 1st and 10 on Hamilton's 44. Ticats are in front by 13 to nothing. Just under 3 minutes remaining to halftime. Plain pitches out to Mendick. Mendick may throw. He does. Long. And about 4 bodies are up for it. And the closest man with Lewis, the intended receiver, that might have picked it off was Eddie Macon as the football bounced into the air, but he was 3 or 4 yards away from it. There were roughly 5 Hamilton Ticat defenders in the immediate vicinity of Leo Lewis on that particular play on the pitch out from Plain to Mendick. Mendick shooting straight out toward the far sidelines and stopping and pitching suddenly downfield intended for Lewis. Lewis and Miller are flankers on the far side. Pitts is split on this side from his right end position. Plain throwing for Pitts. And did he get it inside or not? Let's see. Yes, he completed the pass inside, And it will be a first down by roughly a yard for the Blue Bombers on the Hamilton 33-yard line. And Steve Honestchuk, the Hamilton captain, is having words with referee Paul Dojak, who now signals first down Winnipeg. The other officials today, the three umpires, John Monroe of Toronto, Bill Nairn of Winnipeg, Norm Maxwell, Hamilton, field judge Tom Daly, Ottawa, head linesman Taylor Patterson, Regina. Here go the Bombers. Plain pitches out to Jerry James. He cuts back sharply. Pete Newman grabbed him from behind, but not before James had reached the 25-yard line. And that leaves him roughly a yard and a half short of a first down. The football is almost directly in front of the goalposts. The Blue Bombers in the dark uniforms are moving from north to south on this field at Varsity Stadium in the second quarter. Plain faking and holding onto the ball himself, going for the yardage for a first down, and there could be a measurement coming up. The sticks are coming out for the measurement. Kenny Plain has carried the ball himself this afternoon 9 times so far. It is short of a first down, but just by very few inches. So this is a pretty good chance for you armchair quarterbacks to figure out what you'd do if you were in Kenny Plain's position. Third down and just inches to go, about a minute and a half to halftime. And his team trails 13-0. He goes himself and gets it. Plain on the quarterback keep play right up the middle. First down. Ball is on the 21-yard line, about 25 yards in from these western sidelines, and it is snowing at Varsity Stadium in Toronto. A wet, drizzly type of snow just coming down now for the first time. Plain back to pass. He throws very deep into the end zone. A marker on the field. It is intercepted and dropped in the end zone by one of the Ticat defenders in the person of Ray Bobble. And there's an interference penalty being called on the field. Cookie Gilchrist of the Ticats apparently is the culprit on the interference call.
Illegal interference against Hamilton. Illegal interference penalty with a defensive pass receiver against Hamilton gives Winnipeg a first down.
It is first down for the Blue Bombers on the 13-yard line and directly in front of the goalposts. No minute flag up yet, but very close to it. Hamilton leads 13-0. First half just about over. Plain fakes a pro jump pass. He's running back. He throws in the dead run deep in the end zone. And this time, Ray Bobble intercepts and holds onto the ball. And there's another marker down on that particular play. Ernie Pitts, for whom the pass was intended from Kenny Plain in the Hamilton end zone, was the man who stopped Ray Bobble finally. But the marker is bringing it back out to the 10-yard line. Roughing against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers is the call. It moves the ball to the 25-yard line, where the Ticats, for the third time in this second quarter, have taken possession after Winnipeg has been deep in their territory, knocking on touchdown door. The minute flag is now up. Ticats 13-0. With less than a minute to go to the end of the first half. Ball carrier Jerry McDougall. Paul Whitley, right inside linebacker of the Bombers, 45, the number 1 man on the stop. Second down, roughly 3 yards to go. McDougall moved from the 25 to the 32. Maloney back to throw. He is nailed from behind. The man who got him is Cecil Looning, defensive end for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Barney never had a chance to fire it. And Coach Jim Trimble gets that kicking team of his into action in a hurry. Roughly 30 seconds to the end of the first half. Roland and Latterell, the two deep men for the Bombers, at their own 45-yard line. Fraser is standing on his 13. Cam hits a low wobbler. Latterell takes it at the 53-yard line, and down he goes on the Ticats 52. A 30-yard boot by Cam Fraser. Little Billy Graham, 165 pounds, about 5 feet 8, is the man who brought him down to earth. And it is Bombers' ball, 1st and 10 from the Hamilton Ticats 52-yard line, as time runs out in the first half with the Ticats in front on 2 first-quarter touchdowns, 1 converted, so it's 13-0. The flag is down. This is the last play of the ball game, completed to Pitts, and he is nailed immediately as the gun sounds to end the first half of the Grey Cup game at Varsity Stadium, Toronto. The Hamilton Ticats 13, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers nothing. This is your coast-to-coast Grey Cup football telecast.
Is that correct?
That's the official word which I've received, that it is too large to come into the stadium. They couldn't get it through the gates, which is somewhat reminiscent of the times you and I have tried to get into small telecast booths.
Thank you very much, Mr. Whitaker. I think for the benefit of our Western viewers, we should note the fact there is a small discrepancy in the size of these two men mentioned. Mr. Whitaker's about 280, and I'm only a little old, about 195.